I remember when I found out I was pregnant, I wasn't married, and I felt like I had no way out. I already had a child, and then I found myself pregnant again, and I felt trapped. I've truly felt trapped. I didn't feel like I could let my dad know or my stepmom because it would be more of I screwed up again. Yeah, because that's what I was telling myself a lot is I couldn't get it right. I always made bad decisions. So what's the point of trying all the time? Somewhere in my mind, that started playing in my head. So I didn't tell them that I was pregnant. I told the dad, and we made a decision to have the abortion. One of the things I've learned over time, and it took me time to move through this. It is a trauma. It's an abortion trauma. I remember when I found out I was pregnant, I wasn't married, and I felt like I had no way out. I already had a child, and then I find myself pregnant again, and I felt trapped. I've truly felt trapped. I didn't feel like I could let my dad know or my stepmom because it would be more of I screwed up again. Yeah, because that's what I was telling myself. I couldn't get it right. I always made bad decisions. So what's the point of trying all the time? Somewhere in my mind, that started playing in my head. So I didn't tell them that I was pregnant. I told the dad, and we made a decision to have the abortion. We I would say we probably both felt trapped. I know I did. I remember finding a place. That's when you went to a clinic. So it was some time ago. And I remember walking in there and scared beyond belief, wanting to run the other way and wishing I had I listened to my body, not my head, but my body, my heart, my gut, I would have run out the other way. I truly believe I would have done that. And maybe at that point, I would have made the decision for adoption and told my parents that I was pregnant. And that I think was my biggest sticking point at that time is, oh, yeah, Terry, she did it again. She mucked it up again. And I lived in that world of I just couldn't get it right. No matter what I did, I was just constantly mucking it up. So anyway, um, yeah, I walked in there. I had a conversation. I don't remember all the bits and pieces. I remember the procedure just being absolutely hysterical. And I was never the same after that. It changes you. I know I've talked to some women who they say, I'm fine. It didn't change me. I'm fine. I don't think about it. I'm good. And I'm not saying that's not possible. I'm saying it wasn't possible for me. And I'm saying it's not possible for many women out there. And that might be you who's listening to me right now. And the shame and the guilt that we carry with us for so many years, it's incredibly heavy to carry. Um, I mean, I believe we tell ourselves that, oh, you did this terrible thing and you're not worthy of deserving anything good in your life. And that's why all these things that are now happening to you is because you decided to have that abortion. And it was a heavy, heavy, heavy guilt. I can remember many mornings for years and years, whether I was journaling or I was talking to God, asking for forgiveness, constantly asking for forgiveness of this act that I did. But that guilt And that shame weighed so heavy on me. And it was a conversation between God and I. I didn't have this conversation between me and anybody else for a lot of years. And I struggled with that. It never went away. And I could ignore it every once in a while and push it down for a period of time, but it would come bubbling back up. It would come bubbling back up more around the holidays. And I think that's really why I'm bringing it up now. As we approach the holidays, we get closer and closer. Those decisions that we made to have an abortion, whether it was in a clinic many years ago or it is a pill that is given to you now by your doctor, and then it's what I would consider a home abortion, which in speaking with women, and not just women, men too, and family members that have been there to help support this decision, there are no words to how dramatic that is. For me, I was at the clinic and I remember driving home. I felt empty. I felt dead inside for a lot of years because I could not come to terms with not that God didn't forgive me. I truly believe He did. I believe He did the moment I asked for forgiveness. What was that? 20, 30 years ago. I believe that to in every part of my body that to be true. So where was my hang up? Why was I beating myself up with this time and time and time again? I didn't forgive myself. And I also felt like my family put me in a position where they were judging me and rejecting me. Now, here's what I will say about that. After I healed from this, they weren't judging me. They weren't rejecting me. I was rejecting me. I was holding myself in judgment. I was holding myself in rejection. I was holding myself in shame. They weren't. They were there actually trying to support and love me, but I couldn't see that and I wouldn't let them. I didn't know how. And the reason I didn't know how is because I didn't know how to forgive myself. So one day, I don't know, I bet you 20 plus years after, still didn't talk about it, didn't tell anyone what happened, not even my closest friends, not even my husband, didn't tell anyone. My kids didn't know. I mean, they're grown. I didn't tell them. My aunt that I just love to pieces, she didn't know. She didn't know until I guess it has been over the past few years, really. I did go through an abortion recovery healing program, and it changed my life again. I connected with people at such a deep level, and the forgiveness and the love and the understanding that I received from them, and I was able to give back, shook me to my core. And I knew then that I needed to talk about this. And yes, I have forgiven myself, or I wouldn't be here today being able to even come close to talking about this because I held myself in such a place of judgment. I was holding myself hostage. I put myself in a prison. And many of you may have done the exact same thing, and you don't realize you've done this until you start to work through the healing process. I went through the process. I went through the healing, And I've actually gone through the program a couple of times because I don't believe that healing is a one and done kind of thing, because our feelings are not one and done. We have them, we recognize them, we honor them, we allow ourselves to have the feelings. And then something may trigger you, a memory or a person, or I don't know, a movie. Gosh, I don't know. Could be many different things. Could be a sign along the highway. I think we've probably all seen them. To save a life, to not abort. And when I saw those signs years earlier, and it seemed like I would see them all over the place. I think God was telling me, Terry, it's time. It is past time to forgive yourself. Take the step. I did. Best thing I ever did for my life. I allowed that change to come. I allowed that shift. I allowed that forgiveness to come from myself. And I knew then I needed to bring this to you. It is possible to forgive yourself. It is possible to let people back in. It is possible to tell someone that you deeply love. Maybe it's your spouse. Maybe it's a very, very close friend. It could be a parent or your sister or your brother that you're close with. I did this. I did this years ago, or maybe it was last year. It could have been 6 months ago. At any point in time. But when you are receiving signs that says it's time, it is time to forgive yourself and allow yourself to live again. And I do believe in a lot of ways, for many of us, the holidays brings that up. Yes, I think about it in terms of that this child is waiting for me. When I pass from this life, I truly believe this child's waiting for me. I believe that it is a little boy. I know you call me crazy, but I truly feel that it is a little boy. And that he's waiting for me and that he's safe. And most importantly, he understood and he also forgave me. So that is my very shortened story of my abortion. There's more to it. I won't bring that here. If you ever want to find out more on how to work with me, I will leave my social media handles, and you can also private DM me if you want to find out how to work with me. We can put together a discovery call. We can meet virtually, or if you're locally here to Western Michigan, maybe we meet in person. That would be lovely if that's what you're comfortable with. And let's see if we click. Have a wonderful holiday. I hope it is as fulfilling and meaningful as you want it to be. Forgive others. And forgiving others means sometimes we first have to forgive ourselves. And that's when we start to see the change. And it takes time. Anyway, I will talk to you soon.